Did you guys see the big drama of this weekend? You know, I'm sure my community will appreciate this all, especially. Very pertinent to what my community is like kind of built around and what my community talks about a bunch. This conversation that these days it's harder to learn fighting games than it ever used to be. And that back in the day in the arcade, it was like hella easy to learn games by comparison. I feel like we've already had this discussion. People are like, what about all the brand new tools today? And like James is like, yeah, but you have to look stuff up and it's really difficult to find stuff. Back in the day, you walked up to old Jimmy at the arcade, old one-armed Jimmy, and you're like, what up, Jimmy? And he taught you everything you need to know. But these days, you got to use the internet and look stuff up. It's way harder than asking some guy at the arcade who could just show you. I don't know. There's like this whole thing and it keeps going. But where it really got interesting is when it came to Discord and the discussion that like Discord is really hard to like navigate and like find people to play with and like, you know, all kinds of stuff, right? I don't know about you guys, chat, but when it comes to having information available at your fingertips, there used to be a library full of information, books. Now I could just Google it. Arcade, you know, being at arcade, it's just a books, right? You got to go find motherfuckers in the library, ask them, hey, I need a book on throwing a fireball. And this guy's like, all right, well, if you go over there and subsection this and the decibels, you know what I mean? Like, it's so much more effort than just being able to look something up. If you guys play any video game and you're having an issue, what the fuck do? You type into Google. You're playing League of Legends. You're like, what do I build on this character? You're looking for combos. You like type in B&B is for this character and you find stuff. You know what I mean? It takes 5 seconds. Half the advice I got while playing in arcades was just get better. You know, what can you do? But this part is interesting because Oric, he replied about my Discord. I don't want to spend too much time talking about old versus new because we talked about this and like a lot of people are like, yeah, it's just boomer takes. And like, you know, it sort of just goes on, right? But when it comes to learning online these days, and since that is our primary thing we have to do, I think a lot of James's posts are like really anti-Discord as a tool and like, oh, Discords are really bad if you're nervous or you don't want to talk to people or for finding stuff and stuff like that. The thing about Discord is I actually think it's great for people who aren't very social. If you want to go in a Discord and you want to find a match against another human, you can always stroll over to any of the looking for group sections, pick somebody who asks for a group or asks for a match yourself or whatever, and then just attach to that person and then play games. There's no social expectation of like you guys have to sit there and talk to each other. If you don't like being in a voice chat, you don't have to. If you want to, that's totally an option. You can play in beginner tournaments. You can chat with them, you can get in big lobbies, all that kind of stuff, right? But like if you look at my Discord, tons of players who have not been interested in certain games before or never played, you know, fighting games to like a super high level were like, hey, I want to try to learn this game. And then beginner players are like, sure, yeah, let's play. And then now they're beginner lobbies and people from all skill levels can look and find people together to play matches with. And it doesn't take a lot of social interaction. I've used other Discords to find matches and literally all I did was I went and looked in another Discord, the Uni Discord. Somebody on the West Coast was like, hey, I want to play a match. And I added them and I said, hey, let's play. And then we played our matches. And then at the end I said GG's and they said GG's and I left. And that was my entire like social interaction. So you can be as engaged as going into a Discord, voice calling, hanging out with people, making friends, you know, all that kind of stuff. Or you can just be completely out of it and just like somebody posts a lobby and is like, here's my lobby code. You can just join in the lobby without even saying anything, play for like an hour and then bounce. And there's no social expectation of you getting in a voice call and talking and being in, you know, all that kind of stuff. It just doesn't have to be that way if you don't want it to be. As much as I love offline events, right? You guys recall when I used to go to Wednesday night fights every single week. I was always there. I always went there to play games. I hosted sessions at my house so people would come over and play. I was at offline majors like, you know, 2, 3 times, 4 times a month, depending on the year. Before Wednesday night fights was at Esports Arena. It was at Super Arcade. And I used to go to the arcade there and play games all the time too. As nice as an offline environment is, and as much as I miss it, we don't have it. And there is so much value in online gatherings. Just think about it like this. Like, what are the chances, and I don't know about you guys, but I've been to lots of offline sessions where the game I like to play, nobody's playing it. Or the one person there playing it is like way above or way below the skill level of the other person there. And the reason I started playing a lot of Street Fighter is I would go to Super Arcade and there'd be nobody playing the games I wanted to play. I don't know. I don't get it. As nice as offline gatherings are, at the end of the day, you still run into tons of problems there. If you're not like a super socially like forward person, offline gatherings like that, like asking to play next, asking people to play games, asking for advice, that kind of stuff is hard to do for some people. You have the other issues of how do you find people who are at your level? And if you're looking for a specific game, some people just don't play it. So then I was a new player trying to play some other game, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to have to go into some other community that I'm not like used to and then ask for next on a game that I'm brand new in and try to play it. I was like, okay, I guess this is how it goes. The other thing is like, how many of you guys had offline sessions near you? How many people back in the day had arcades full of people playing games that were hyper competitive all the time? Tons of people just don't have a local near them that they can go to and hang out and play games. And if they want to, they have to like go to a major or something, or go to like a regional or a monthly or something big where they have time. You got to be reasonable. Lots of people don't live in an area with lots of locals. In my Discord, there's so many people who's like their community is the Discord. It's online communities, right? Because no one's played in an offline local in like a year now. But the other thing is like, you know, maybe people just don't have stuff close to them. The ability to like sit down online, search for people, find exactly what you're looking for, find matches that you want, like have regional sections in Discord so that you can find people who are near you, finding players that are near your skill level, signing up for like beginner tournaments and stuff. There's so much that you can do as a new player to learn and you get out of Discord, even if it's bad at maintaining or keeping information compared to like a forum or like a wiki. Those wikis and other places where you can go grab information still exist. Discord, even if you don't use it for that, at its worst, is still a great matchmaker and is still a great way to connect people together to play fighting games. Finding like-minded people who enjoy your game is how you, first of all, I think maintain interest in playing it. But then second of all, really get in deep. You know, when you like playing games with the people you're playing with and you're just sitting there enjoying your time, grinding the game over and over, hanging out, really having fun, then I think that's really important. James talked about online play, how like just going online and playing ranked and fighting games is really lonely. And in like other games, you can like play with your friends or there's teammates and stuff. I don't see why fighting games are different than that, right? If you want to just hang out with your homies and get in a lobby or hang out with your friend and play your friend or something, you can totally do that. You don't even have to be the person that says, hi, I'm new here. You could just go and be like, any new players looking for a match. In my Discord and many other new player Discords, there are new players asking for matches in everything. I see people that are like, hey, I'm new here. And a week later, I see them in the voice call at like 3 a.m. playing games with people. And I was like, they're in too deep. We got them. The more I look at this tweet, the more I'm like, man, there's newbie Discords. And you don't have to memorize frame data when you're new. And you don't even have to be like, hi, I'm new here guy. You can just go and be like, hey, any other beginners playing this game? In fact, it's much worse if you pop into the Discord, hey guys, I'm new here. Name is Johnny. Not only that, but I want you to know that my favorite arcade activity, like you don't have to give us a dissertation. Just like pop in and be like, yo, who wants to play some games? It's not complicated. You should ask me about Faust frame data. I've played for like 4 or 5 days or whatever in Guilty Gear now, right? I can't even tell you a single, I can only guess. Even when people are like, oh, this move's like -6, I'm like, I think I can punish that, right? I'm like, all the homework and stuff like that people think you have to do, they're going to do it at some point, right? They'll do it eventually, but you don't have to do it right away. And even then on frame data, the things you need to know are like, not that vast. And Filament says, I literally did the frame data for Killer Instinct and I still only know a few key moves for character. I don't know when it is, but everybody has that career in fighting games where once they learn about frame data, they like learn frame data for every situation. And then at some point, I realized, why the fuck do I know the frame data on 400 strings? I only need to know the frame data on like 20. I wasted time learning frame data on these strings that don't matter. Everybody has a phase where they just like are really obsessed with frame data and then they have to punch through, you know, and realize like, oh yeah, I'm okay. It's not a phase, bro. Just frame data is the most important thing ever. You just like suddenly realize you're like, wait, I don't even think it's just fighting games. I think any game online can be very lonely if you just play it alone. Like if you don't engage with anybody socially, like have you ever played like a MOBA and queued up and like there's like a 3 stack or like a 4 stack in your group and the rest of them are just being complete shitheads to you, or even if they're not a stack, you just like play solo queue and you're just like, dude, everybody here hates each other. This shit sucks. It's like you versus the 4 stack on your team versus all the assholes on the other team, and you're just like, oh my god, I gotta get out of this game. I'm stuck here for 45 minutes. Yeah, it's just everything. If you solo queue in any game, you know that the experience can be bad or quite lonely. All of these experiences are more fun hanging out with friends. It doesn't matter the game. Playing a BR by yourself, solos in BR, is like the most lonely experience ever. You want to talk about lonely. It's terrifying. It feels like a horror game. Around every corner, there's a motherfucker just waiting for you, trying to murder you. It's like a very scary, lonely experience, running around in like a big ass empty map with like fucking people lurking in the bushes. That shit is terrifying. Dude, solo PUBG is the scariest shit ever. But yeah, I mean, you know, you get it, chat. It's not a fighting game thing. And not only that, but there's tons of cool things that you can do playing with other homies in a Discord or hanging out and stuff. Even if it's not like a public Discord, even if you and your friends get together and play, it's really fun. And I agree with Ryan about streaming. That is one of my favorite parts about streaming, is that if I'm streaming and I want to play games, I can just like be like, hey, let's fucking play games. And I get together. The chat gets to like watch the match. You get to talk about the match. It's nice. And if you're someone who's just playing fighting games, I encourage you to try looking for people to play matches with if you're new, especially, and you want to find other new players. I think it'll help you a lot. And not only that, you'll end up meeting people who, when you play them, some of them, maybe you'll be like, fuck that guy, I don't want to talk to that guy. But then maybe there'll be some where you're like, this person's cool. And then next time you're looking for a match, you see them online, you play again, and now you got a friend. You know, that's how it goes. Listen. This is just an example of where our Rust server is at. The current thing that Moste is building is he described as Dr. Wily's castle. No one's getting it. That's what he said. He's just sitting there as this monument to mankind's genius. Wily's castles always get destroyed. Yeah, by Mega Man. You think we got a Mega Man in our crew? At best, we've got like a Mario. We got one guy running around in his overalls thinking he can make it through.